Hello, this is Mama Risa, and I am so excited because guess what I did? I voted today. Oh my God. And it was fast. It didn't take a long time. I was in and out. The people were very nice and hospitable and, everything. But I just wanted to let you know, early on, before we got into early voting in Georgia, we had a roundtable discussion with some parents, and we just were given some information. But we do have some facts that I want you to consider. If you haven't voted already, consider these things as we are inundated with commercial after commercial and false facts, fakes, lies, spins, and so much that it's just out of control. Vote your conscience, vote your heart. Nobody can predict the future, but we can judge some things from the past, and there are some formulas that are true. And when you look at this video, you're gonna understand things that are presented to you in media that has an intended outcome. And we want to give you information. Thank you to all of those who have voted. Thank you for doing your civil duty to keep that option for us alive. And for those of you who haven't, and there's a lot of people who are still yet undecided, that's okay. You got a few more days. So look at this video, and hopefully you can look through some of the things that are being presented in a biased way. And make an informed decision. Thank you, and I'm super excited. Don't know what the outcome is going to be, but all I can say is brace yourself for the impact, whichever way that goes. Hello, and welcome to the Youth Life Center of the Arts. I'm telling you, it is going down in the Dell today. Today is a historic day in the history of the United States of America. This is the night of the one and possibly only debate between candidates who is running for the presidency of the 2024 upcoming election, and we're excited about it. Listen, full disclaimer, we are not pro or con, we are not supporting, we are not endorsing, we are not doing any of the above. We are not affiliated, and we are not condemning or condoning any candidate. But what we are doing is making sure that our students are aware of current events and what's going on in the world around them. We don't want them just to be awake. We want them to be aware, equipped, and empowered with information to make informed and intelligent decisions and to think for themselves. And I am surrounded by some amazing people who happen to be on my team, and I am going to let them introduce themselves. I am C. Williams, the mover, the shaker, the great motivator. I am the executive director of the Youth Life Center of the Arts, and I'm so glad to be here tonight. And I'm talking fast because we got to get to it. And I'm going to pass the baton this way.
And I am Danielle Hillman, the program director here at the Youth Life Center of the Arts. And we come here to do what we do every day for our babies and families and community. And I'm going to pass the mic to...
Hello, I am Mr. J, affectionately known as Uncle J. I am the creative director here, and I am here to shed light on what we do here with our youth.
Hello, I'm Coach C. I'm the new dance instructor here, and today I'll be watching.
Yes, the watch party. Listen, this is the good before the good. And we wanted to just give a little information about what we do down in the Dell. I mean, we are trailblazers in adolescent care. And in that, we make sure that we empower our children with information that they need to succeed and make informed decisions.
I think one of the things that's been very interesting in this whole process has been kind of helping them to understand why they need to be aware.
Yes.
Why they should engage and why they should care about the politics that are going on now, even though they can't vote, even though you don't have a say, even though, your opinion, it appears, doesn't matter. I think one of the interesting conversations that we had was when they get to understand, if you don't understand the way the world is, you won't know what you need to fix when you do get that power.
Absolutely. That is one thing that I'm very conscious of, is how many of our children are our future politicians? How many of them are our future leaders? And we don't know, so we have to make sure that they are equipped, they are ready to be civically engaged, because this is their country. And we need them to show up.
And even though they may not have the right to vote, they do have an impact that does matter.
Yes.
Their voices still can be heard, even though not in the ballot box. There are schools that do silent lockouts or school protests and strikes and just different things
Yes.
that they become aware of their civil power and strength that they have even as kids.
Absolutely. And the fact that we know that their voice matters. Their voice matters, but what's the understanding? What have they been made aware of? What have they been exposed to? I know for myself, I was told what my party should be. I didn't have a chance to really vet a candidate or understand how to vet a candidate or what I might deal with when dealing in politics at all.
That was the fun assignment was, tell me which party aligns with your political values.
Yes.
Or align with your values. It wasn't political.
Your core.
Tell
Yes.
me
Yes.
which party aligns with your values and why. And so when I was giving them the assignment, the parents were like, okay, that's easy. I said, no, I don't care about your values.
Right.
I want to know their values.
Absolutely.
And so that's been a course of discovery as well, them developing an understanding of their own value system and where things rank.
Absolutely. Being one of our newest members here and one of our younger members here, at what point did you start exercising your political voice?
I would say during the Black Lives Matter movement,
Okay.
when the situation with George Floyd, and when it was still during COVID, everyone had their masks and they were still out protesting. That's when I think that was the first time I actually got involved. I was already voting, I believe, at that time, but it wasn't until that time where I actually was involved and I felt like my opinion or my voice mattered at that time.
Okay. Well, we want them to know very early, at the
Yes.
earliest point possible, how to make an informed decision, how to critically think and think outside of emotion, right?
Yes,
We have to be able to see past the emotion of things, even past our own beliefs,
Yes.
and really vet out what's in front of us to make the best decision for the whole.
The old folk used to say, chew up the meat and spit out the bone. You have to know how to divide the two. I think one of the things that's even helpful is knowing what everyone does. One of the things that amazes me during debates and people's political decisions is, well, she said she gonna give us $5,000. And I'm just listening. He said he gonna give us more I'm listening, I'm like, that's not the primary function of the president.
Right.
They really
Right.
have no ability to do that. Actually, that's the job of your local senator or representative or, somebody in your community. You might want to get this org chart together, sir, so you know where to take your issues, because you're taking out your frustration with your representative on the president, and it might mean you would vote a different way. I'm
Yes.
just gonna sit that
And
there.
it might mean that you will show up for local elections when you know how much weight that they have. Even if your undesired or desired candidate get in the office, it's the other elections that determine
That
the
give them
Senate,
power.
the House, and
Yes.
give them power. So no matter which way this go, if you don't like it, show up in the next election and correct it, and let your voice be heard that way.
I had a very interesting conversation today. And in the conversation, we were talking about, well, how does the national elections or how does the office of the president affect me directly? And in that conversation, we started to discuss the levels of government, from local to state
Yes.
to federal. And you're closest and you have the greatest power in
Yes.
who you're electing in your office
Yes.
where you live.
Yes.
Because you have to monitor, it's not just our right to vote. You now have a job to do to ensure your candidate is performing in the way that they said they would.
Yes.
So it doesn't stop with just
Yes.
the vote.
And they work for us.
Hello?
And a lot of times it's twisted as if they're doing us a favor to hold that office. They work for us, and we need to hold them accountable and not just take it for granted that they are working in our best interest.
Because I thought about this, right? We generally pay taxes. You're taxed on a package of beef at the grocery store. You're taxed on a hamburger, same. You're taxed in your general taxes. I've been taxed 3 times for the same beef. You hear me? Like, the one tax should cancel one of them.
Of the taxes.
Like,
No.
how do the same free water in the river? You're like, I'm taxed for it to come, but then you tax me for you to take that water and put it in the bottle and give it back to me.
Absolutely.
Right.
So the water can cost $1 because I understand that you had to pay for packaging, but why are you taxing me on something you got for free?
What I'm hearing is an opinion and a feeling, and I know that you being a voting person, you know you have the right to speak on that now, because I opened my vote.
And we have to be able to rightfully divide what is true and what is fact and what is opinion. And a lot of times the way things are spun, the way things are
I just did one of those.
yeah, right. Put a spin on it, put a filter on it, put an AI on it. It appears as it is real when it is not. Do a search on it and wiki or whatever pops up and we count it as truth. But what is the truth? How do we know for sure? What are some of the politics? You know, what are some of the things that we should be aware of when we are cognizant of?
Yes.
Because all of it is it could be mass manipulation. Trying to sway, because persuasion is what we do. You know, everybody's gonna fix Medicare. Everybody's gonna fix, you know, everything. The board, everything until you get in office.
And
you know,
it's also understanding that too, because it goes back to what I campaigned on may not be within the realm of influence that I have or what I can actually do.
So we hold them accountable for things that they cannot do, but they're talking points to sway votes.
Yes.
But you really don't have the power to do anything but take care of foreign affairs.
So I know how, like, you know, this is kind of making me want to run for office. If I was to run for local office, my thing would be, one, I wouldn't take any, I would do it right in, my thing would be write me in. That would be my whole campaign, write me in. Because I'm not paying to be on the ballot. It costs about $13,000, $18,000, a good piece of money to be on the ballot. And you have to pay it. And so I'm looking at whoever pays it, owns you.
You gotta pay to play.
You have to pay to play.
Absolutely.
So you ain't got $50,000 just hanging around for you to put me on 1,000,000 ballots. So y'all write me in, okay? But here's what I'm gonna promise. Everything they ask me, I'm gonna ask you. I can't do nothing till y'all answer.
Yes.
That's gonna be my whole political career.
I think one of my biggest concerns is that I didn't learn a lot of this stuff until I went to college, because you know, I graduated with my Bachelor of Arts in Political Science, and so it wasn't until then I learned all these things that they're doing as far as mass manipulation. It wasn't until I got into college until I learned that. But how can my other classmates or my peers learn this information and learn how to make, you know, sound decisions? And so what are we gonna do to get them to learn how to do these things, like to go out and vote and make these decisions? Do you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So do you feel like because that was your course of study, you know, but there's a lot of people in college that don't know? Is that what you think?
And we've had some rallies on campus, especially about the Gaza situation. We had some rallies, and some people will look at us crazy because we were out there, but they don't really understand the full, the
Scope.
bigger picture of what's going on, and so they're looking at us crazy. But Yeah, I just wish young mind people, they would understand like what's
Right.
really going on and how to make proper decisions, and don't listen to everything, and don't fall into the traps of things that you see on social media, because that's not always the case. Like just being able to know, pick and choose your information, how to do that. So
Those traps that you talked about, that's those politics.
Yeah, politics. Tell me this, how do you feel in this environment with us exposing our population, the middle school population, to this kind of information early on? How do you think it would serve them are knowing it a little bit earlier if they take it for what it is?
I think we have to start teaching them how to get information, but don't always accept what you're being told. Like teaching them how to what's the word?
Challenge it.
Yeah,
Challenge
yeah,
it.
learn how
Research.
to challenge it for yourself.
Research
Yes.
it for themselves.
Yeah, don't always take what you're given.
Yes.
Because I think I struggled with that growing up. When people would tell me something, oh, then it must be true.
Right.
But it wasn't until I got into college where it's like, no, you need to know reliable sources,
Yes.
where to get your information from, and how to think for yourself.
Yes.
And I think that's the problem with, people my age, is that we group think. Everything is, we
Wow.
think together. And so if one person says this, oh, it must be true. Like, now we
Yes.
all thinking this, and we don't know how to challenge it. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, you know,
No,
you
that's
do.
really
that,
good.
that
That's
is
This is
really
how
really
we
good.
get
I
to
like
know.
that group thing.
The
That's
group thing,
powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also being empathetic, putting yourself in someone else's shoes, trying to consider things from another perspective. We talk about all the time as a staff. I say it's one of my areas of strengths and weaknesses is I can be for or against anything. And it drives me crazy.
At the same time.
Because I can see, I can argue you to it and argue you right away from it at the same
Yes.
doggone time. And it irritates me sometimes, but it helps me not to fall in those traps. I think like the Gaza situation is a very recent trap that we allow it to divide us as a country because how we're fed the information.
Yes.
Where it's really a truly unfortunate situation for all those involved. And it really is something that should not be politicized the
Right.
way we do it. It is an issue where people are in need. And
Yes.
because of how things are fed, well, I'm for this one and I'm for that one, and we lose sight of its humanity. And if you just put yourself in someone else's shoes, if you would deign to come down just a
Yes.
little bit, and
Yes.
just let your 10 rest in a shoe that may not comfortably fit, you might be able to consider information from different sources.
Yes.
Yes.
My reality may not be your reality, but truth is. And when you step into shoes, you might bump into truth you did not know at your reality.
Absolutely. Love it.
Wow.
Love it.
Listen, this is a power-packed situation. So what's the tricks of the trades? Because we got a few more minutes before the clock strikes.
Because we are such an emotional people, especially after COVID. People came out from their homes and they just feel and they feel and they feel. And some people play on that. People will play on those feelings, right? So we have these things called diversionary tactics.
Yes.
We do things, especially when we're debating and in campaign. I want you to see me in a certain light. So I might paint the other person in a light that I don't want you to be favorable in, right? So like that comes through misdirection. Shifting the focus from controversial issues to scandals that may have been old and past, right?
You mean snake eyes? What we do with the kids where you looking somewhere but you talking somewhere else?
Yes,
Oh.
very much so.
Okay.
So we definitely need to know exactly what the party politic platforms are, right? Not just what someone said they're gonna do. Go research that for yourself. Go see what they're doing.
tactics.
Check their websites out. Make sure what they're saying matches what you see them doing or have done or have the capability to do, right?
And history is a record that don't lie. If you check the right credible sources. Credible sources. But history is a record that if someone shows you who they are, believe them.
Yes. So Changing the subject, false equivalencies. This is a big one. Whataboutism. Well, what about? Well, what about? That will take you totally off of the target that we're talking about, because you want me to again look over here, right? So we want to be conscious of those things as we're watching the debate.
Yes.
You
yes.
might see that happen. And if your candidate is the one that's doing it, is that really a candidate for you? You know, so we got to be conscious. Do they really align with your values, right? Red herrings are another one. Misinformation.
Red herring.
A red herring is when you're introduced to irrelevant or vague issues that again take you way down this
Rabbit
alley
trail.
that have nothing to do with the border.
Right.
Nothing to do with
the question
topics.
the topic.
Right?
So that's
yeah.
chasing the red
The
herring.
red herring. Go look for that purple
Catch it.
grapefruit in
Right.
the
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
No, you'll never find it.
Absolutely.
But you took the bait.
Cherry picking data. Only
Yes.
picking certain information I want you to know about and speak about, and that's not going to be favorable for you, right?
Yes.
Be conscious of that. We have fear mongering. We get people to move based on fear.
Fear.
Or not.
Or not. Or not move. Because
Yes.
if you fear, you're not going to go that way. You're
Yeah.
not going to go that way. So again, there's nothing to be afraid of but fear itself.
Yes.
Let's go
Yes.
into that. Let's meet it head on and let's see what it is, because again, we have a job to do as the voting party.
And can we talk about fear first? What are we afraid of us as a nation? We should not be afraid of our neighbors.
Right, right.
Let's
Yes.
like, now this is very, as what makes us American is that everyone can have their own values, their own beliefs, their own religion, their own ideologies, make their own money, live how they want to live, and our Constitution allows for that. It allows you to be you,
Yes.
me to be me, everybody can be, but as a country now, we've allowed fear to make me fear your
Presence, my
just
existence.
very
yes,
existence.
yes,
And so now
yes.
fear breeds hate.
Yes.
And I don't speak, we already didn't speak to our neighbors. But now I'm thinking something about you.
And I don't even know.
I don't even know nothing about
Right, I don't
you.
even know
I
you.
haven't even
Yeah.
connected with
Yeah, with you.
With you.
I'm making assumptions that all, one is
It's all.
And if you don't think like I think, believe what I
Then
believe,
now
then
you're the
you
enemy.
are devalued.
Yes.
And now I want to usurp my values or impose my thoughts and my,
Absolutely.
again, it goes back to the group think. The group think. If you don't think like me, then you're
Then
not
you're out
like,
the
you're
group.
against me. And you must be against me.
Right.
So homework assignment,
Homework.
go greet your neighbor.
Hello.
Turn to your neighbor and say, hi neighbor.
Yes.
Hi.
Give them a
Because,
can of soup. Give them a,
yes, because,
be
yes.
nice to your neighbor.
Yes, because-
learn about
yes.
somebody outside of your four and no more. Talk
Yes.
to somebody. You might find out something you didn't know.
Absolutely.
And you might find a friend you didn't know you needed.
Yes, because guess what? If the floodgates open in your neighborhood, you might need your neighbor.
Hello?
Because if the storm rises, it's gonna rise on your house and on theirs. We all bleed the same blood, color blood. So we all hurt. We all have the same emotions,
Yes.
the same needs. Maslow is not exclusive to anybody, and everything that we all need the same. We all need to be loved, respected, and heard. That is what everyone needs, and respect each other's opinions.
Absolutely.
Whether you agree, we can agree to disagree,
Yes.
but we must respect one another.
Yes.
I
yes,
think it's so, that's where the degradation of us as a country really needs to
Yeah.
get it together.
Yeah.
So let's get
What's
ready, you guys.
love got
We've
to
given
do?
you some things
to do
for you to be
it.
aware of, for you
Yes.
to be sharp on. Don't get emotionally pulled.
No.
Stay focused.
Yes.
Keep your head in the game.
Yes.
And make sure you pick your candidate wisely.
And love your neighbor.
Hey,
Treat
neighbor.
people the way you want to be treated.
Yes.
Good evening. So here I am again, Danielle Hillman, Program Director at the Youth Life Center of the Arts. We wanted to make sure that you had a little bit more information before we let you go. The Heritage Foundation was kind enough to put together a 2025 mandate for leadership. This is for the Republican Party. It's 922 pages long. However, this information is very important for you to know. While we talked about you being an informed citizen, an informed voter, you might want to know what's happening on the other side of the fence if you need to. In that light, what we have is a shortened version of that information. So if you can take a look at the People's Guide to Project 2025, in which will give us a shortened version of what we've got going on in this big one. So either one, you can have the full one or you can have a shortened version that gives you some more highlighted specific details. But again, before you cast your vote, be informed. Be informed. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. I hope that you found some value in the information that you just heard. Listen, if you have not voted, get up off your rusty dusty and go vote. And take somebody with you. I'm glad that I voted. Don't be in the position to wish you had and you didn't. Listen, if you already voted, thank you. Early voting ends November the 1st, and the big day is November the 5th. Don't wait till the last minute. State your case today.